Hey everybody, welcome to the midweek, the Jeff Show. Ain't that a crime? Hey Sharon, how's it going?
Yeah, pretty good. How's everybody?
Yeah, hopefully everyone's doing well. Of course, thank you for being a co-host once again. So it's July 9th. We like to talk about the upcoming episode for the weekend and just
Yes.
overall. Honestly, I think we have a lot of good things to say, very interesting things. This Saturday, right, we're going to have a great interview with the Reverend Dr. David Adamovich. We had to
Yes.
practice that name right
Yes,
beforehand.
we did. Adamovich.
So what do you know about the good Reverend?
I know that he is a world record holder and he's got lots of world records and Guinness World Record holder for throwing knives. You never
Oh,
guess how many he can throw in a minute.
are we guessing now? We're going to say that for the episode.
Well, it's up to you.
Okay. Well, I guess we're
You
just going to
make it.
give hints.
Give a
Well, I can.
guess. Give a guess,
Okay.
and we'll find out from him.
Okay. Yeah. Let's guess. That'd be fun. I'm so a minute, 60 seconds. Can he throw one per second? Is it going to be
Ooh,
60 or maybe let's
that
say
would be about. See,
40
yeah.
to 60?
Yeah, all right. Yeah, that sounds about right.
So I'm
Like,
assuming he's going quickly and he's got that many
he's,
knives on hand.
yeah. I mean, if he's throwing, well, hang on, but maybe he can do 120 because he's got two hands.
Good point. He's double dipping.
Mm,
He's double
yeah.
fisting the knife beers. That's
Yeah.
great.
Well, we'll find out. We'll
Yeah.
have to
I,
ask.
I was freaked out to see one where I don't want to give too much away, but he had two girls on a spinning wheel and they were covered with paper and he was just tossing them. I was like, you freaking kidding me, man. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And
Yes. It's
he
going to be a
has,
really exciting show.
yeah, I'm excited. He's
And
got some true crime connections. We'll save that for the show. But yes,
yep.
not
Yes.
just throwing knives, but which
Please.
is special enough, right?
Oh yeah. Yes. Yes.
What do you got for today in crime history, July 9th?
Okay, so July 9th, which is actually the 10th today for me, but
True.
true, because I'm in the future.
That never gets old.
Back to the future. All right, so I have in 1928, there was a mass murder in Alberta, Canada. A man named Fred Booher, I can't say that, Boohoo, uh, shot and killed his mother and two hired workers on a farm in Manville, Alberta. Apparently, the crime was committed in a fit of rage, and authorities found few clues, though a rifle was determined to be a murder weapon. Okay, that's like that's almost 100 years ago.
Right. Well,
Almost.
what clues would they have back then? They have like a magnifying glass. They're looking around. They're looking at footprints. They're
Oh,
not
yeah,
checking
that's
DNA. There's
yeah, he must have been
eyewitnesses.
at the scene. He must have been at the scene of the crime. He must have stayed there,
Right. He
seriously.
must have stuck around cleaning up
Yep.
afterwards and just got caught.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Well, that's surprising they caught him.
Yeah.
Um, Now, 2008, there was the murder of Travis Alexander, and the case of Jodi Arias. Did you know about that one?
Yeah. I've written her twice. Haven't heard back from her yet.
Oh, well, do you want to tell everybody what she did?
Oh, she unalived her boyfriend and concocted quite a tale about it. It was a long confession. It took a while to get to that. Is this a story you're not familiar with Jordi Arias?
Yeah, no, I'm not familiar
Really?
with it at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Today's her birthday is what was significant about that note because the crime
Ah,
occurred. I think you had notes on that. I don't remember the exact date, but yeah, today's her birthday is not when the crime happened. Uh, Basically, she fell in love with this dude. He's Mormon. They were at like a Mormon conference and they fell in love. But with the Mormon religion, it's pretty strict. So he converted her, but and they had a very active sex life and they had to kind of hide that. But then she was getting very clinging, which he didn't like. And it seemed like he wanted to see other people too. It's hearsay. They broke up a couple times. The main thing is that she moved to California with her grandparents, and he was still in Arizona. And she took a trip there, but first she went to an ex-boyfriend's house and got his gas tank, his gas can, so she wouldn't have to stop and have like a trail of her credit card at different places, right?
Yeah.
So she ended up going there, and recorded her. She killed him in the shower, essentially. They slept together, and she took pictures of it. Like, there's a picture of him just like looking at her before it happened, and then the camera fell, and there's different
Uh,
awkward shots of his body, and she stabbed him. She cut his throat almost, his head off almost all the way, and she shot him post mortem. Brutal, man. It's freaking brutal
oh.
case. The She put some clothes and the camera into a wash machine, but she didn't take out the SD card. So even though it's damaged, they can recover the photos on there.
Uh,
Luckily, she's not the smartest.
Smarter.
She's not the best knife in the killer drawer, as we say. Uh, the roommate, he had roommates, and after a couple of days, it started decomposition,
Yeah, okay.
decomposition smell. And yeah, first she said it was two guys that did it. She wasn't. Well, first she wasn't there. Then two guys came and robbed him, and she didn't want to say anything because they threatened to kill her. Then she said she killed him in self defense, pretty much, essay
Uh,
assault kind of stuff. So to this day, she still claims her innocence, that she was the victim protecting herself. Right?
because
Uh,
victims take photos.
yeah, victims take photos. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, big case. So
Okay.
I guess happy birthday to you, Jody Arias, and I
Yeah.
hear it's hard to get her to write back. I have a friend who got a letter back. He was asking about buying her artwork. She sells her art. She has a website that you could purchase prints and original works. So yeah, she's kind of out there like with Krista Pike. If you're looking for American inmates,
Okay.
yeah,
I'll have to Google it later. Yep.
yeah, tons of like Lifetime movies about it too. But anyways,
Okay.
anything
All
else you got
right.
for today in
Yeah,
history?
I've got one more.
Okay,
Apparently, in 1850, the mysterious death of the US President Zachary Taylor. Do you know of Zachary Taylor? Like
heard it.
I don't do United Presidents, but
Yeah.
apparently he died suddenly on July the 9th after only 16 months in office. Although it was officially attributed to illness, some historians speculate it was a possible poisoning, making it very intriguing.
So
So
who
yes,
who lost
maybe a
to
murdered
him?
president.
Right?
So yes. So yeah, but that is all I have
Okay.
for new well, yeah,
I
the
found one
state.
that was kind of interesting. The Russell murders, they happened in 1996. This was in Kent, England area. It was mom and two daughters on their way home from school and swimming, were attacked by somebody with a hammer. He tied them up and he blindfolded them, and I think even the dog was attacked as well. The oldest 9-year old, she did make it. The
Oh,
assailant,
that's good.
yeah, they caught him after a BBC documentary came on TV with his description, and he didn't have an alibi for this day. This is, I think, about 4 days later or 6 days later that they apprehended him. He says I can't remember because he was on drugs and just couldn't account
Um,
for it. He had neighbors that said that they saw him come to the door with blood on his clothes when he was in prison for a bit while waiting for trial. A couple of the inmates came out and said that he told them that he killed him. One actually recanted later on, saying that that actually didn't happen. They probably wanted attention. So the first trial, he was set free, but he did go
oh,
back to prison where he is still now. He Last I read, he may be eligible for parole in 2023. It seems to be a pretty big case, still ongoing.
okay.
He's claiming innocence, which I think
Okay,
there's
so the
good.
first
Yeah.
yeah, so like is in America double jeopardy. Like if you go to trial for something,
Yes, I
can
was
they
thinking the
acquit you?
same thing. It's double jeopardy, right?
Wow.
Yeah. If they let it's supposed to be 3 life sentences and possible parole after 25 years. So I mean, this happened in
Okay.
'96, but he didn't go
Yeah.
to prison official until I think like 2001. Or
Okay. Well, I hope he gets convicted. this time,
Well,
if
no,
it's
he's
still going on?
convicted. No. He's
Oh,
yeah,
oh,
he's
but he's still trying to get out saying he's innocent.
yes, yeah, he's still in.
Ah,
And the 9-year-old girl, she did have some brain damage.
oh,
Uh, she's an adult now. She's an artist living with her dad.
yep.
Yeah, horrible story. But
Yeah, I don't think people ever get over the trauma,
no,
even without having the physical trauma of being a victim, the emotional trauma. I don't think you ever get over any of it.
I don't think so. And there was an
No.
interview I was watching on YouTube, and I can link it later. The father's pretty calm. He mentioned at the time he was losing it, but he was, I think, in true proper British fashion. They have the endurance. They're proper even at their worst moment, right?
Mm,
No insult to them,
yeah,
but he held back his emotions pretty well. But I know it's been some time since it happened.
yeah,
So, well, that's what we got in this day in history. Let us know if you guys like that. I think it's interesting, and we can always elaborate more. If there's maybe a certain case people like, let us know. Maybe we could
yeah,
talk more about it, right?
yeah, absolutely.
And I love that when we could teach each other, like you not knowing Jodi Arias is, and for me, it's cool because then I get to tell you about it,
Yeah,
and it's big
yep,
because being from Arizona, it was huge at the time when this happened.
yep, yeah. No, well, I like learning about things I don't know.
Right.
So
Very,
yes,
very
it makes it
true.
interesting.
Well, that's why we're into true crime is to learn and to help prevent and to mourn those
Yes,
that are lost. It's
yes,
always we don't
absolutely.
it, writing to her is not for praise. It's just
Mo
understanding,
it's finding out the motive, why it's happened,
right?
not the gory details.
Because you're not going to get
Yeah.
the right details from any newscast or lifetime video. And these
Mhm.
people never get to speak. And people say, why let them speak? Well, because we need to learn, why
Yes.
give them a platform so we can learn?
Yep.
I don't want to
Yep.
learn from the news because it's fabricated, it's fake.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So what we got,
Absolutely.
you want to give, you said, well, we could do some shout outs. Want to shout out to Tina. Big day tomorrow, right?
Yeah. Very big day tomorrow. So I'm hoping everything goes well for her. Don't
It,
want to say what,
oh, we don't want to say
but
what? Okay.
no, don't want to say what, just in case like
Very,
people decide to
yeah.
get in there and ruin it for her.
Good point.
You
I
know what I
like
mean?
that. I do. I
So
know.
yeah.
Thank you for catching that.
Yeah.
But
I mean, there are people that don't want her out.
good luck to Tina, and her name is Tina Monroe, please.
Yes,
It's
Tina
not
Monroe.
James.
Yes.
It's Tina.
It's not James, it's not Michael.
Right.
She goes by Tina.
Right.
Yes,
She only forgives me
absolutely.
if I say man, but I call everybody man, so we're okay.
Yeah, I do too. Like, hey guys, hi man, how you doing?
Exactly.
Yes.
It's a
But
it's a
if, yeah, I think as long as you try and
definitely
don't just completely ignore the fact that she is now Tina.
right.
Yeah.
If all goes well for her or whatever she's doing, then we can have an update later. I hope to have her on
Yeah.
the show again. I keep missing her calls.
Cool. Yeah. No, well, hopefully we will have an update. And if we get one before next weekend, we can update on the weekend show.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be great if she can also join us for that update. And speaking of Tina, really quick before we continue with shout outs, I was mentioning too, I've been watching the Butchers of LA, which is on Peacock. There's 3-part series. It's from the crimes from 1968 to about 1980, that period in Southern California. And I know you know a lot about it, especially with the Freeway Killer and Bill Bonin. That's the recent
Yes.
episode that's out. Episode 2,
Yes.
Bill Bonin.
Okay. Yes, I have tried to search it, and we are not allowed to have it in Australia. So
No,
I have to find an alternative way to watch it. I know what it's about. But yes, there's so many similarities between all three of those. And yeah,
it was
I wouldn't be
interesting.
surprised. They say that they don't know each other and they never worked together, but I'm like, surely they've crossed paths.
You talking about
The three of them.
Patrick Kearney,
Yeah.
Randy Kraft,
Yes.
Bill Bonin.
Yes.
Be
Yes.
odd if they didn't, especially with Bill Bonin, because they were mentioning that Bill he didn't like to do anything alone, which I could see that. You know,
Yes.
when he got Vernon Butts in it, and I love that name Butts. I laugh every
But,
time.
but, yes,
But
that is, yes,
he
but.
was gonna uh, testify against him, then he ended up unalived in his cell. Are
Mhm.
you thinking that was suicide, or you think that
For a while, I thought he might have been murdered, but knowing now what I know about the case, I do believe that he decided to take the easy way out. Well, it's not, it wouldn't be easy for me to do to myself, but
no?
I think that, yeah, he'd still be in prison, or he would have had the same outcome as Bonin, most likely, I think, with the amount he was involved in, even though he was
Possibly.
testifying against him.
I think it
He,
will. He probably made it would make a deal. It turn was it called like state evidence where maybe he would
yeah,
get
he
could
did,
avoid.
he was meant to turn evidence, but they say he was more ashamed about his parents finding out about everything he did.
Yeah,
But
and who he
mm,
was. Even Lana's mom, she
yeah,
goes, "I didn't know that he was gay, and I didn't. You know, he was a good kid. He had some
yes,
problem in the military. You know,
ignorance is bliss, hey?
yeah. Wait, yeah. I do recommend that if you can find it. I don't know if I can help you find. I'll try because one of the investigators went to the one of the alleyways where one of the boys were found, and there was a trash can there. I doubt it's the same one. But he just described, I'm 6'4", he says, and I was able to peek in there, and it looked like there was a young boy in there. But it looked like he was asleep because he wasn't decomposing yet. And he's talked
Yep.
about having to get the evidence from inside of the
Yep.
and saying that whoever did this obviously had help because you can't lift a 160-pound boy on your own over this
Yeah.
big garbage can.
Yep.
And you have to know the
Hmm.
area. I mean, it seems like you're not searching around looking for garbage cans. It's something that you've already known ahead of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, great
Great.
episode. Next is
Yeah.
Randy Kraft, and I talked to him too. Randy Kraft,
Yep.
all of them, but it
Yeah.
didn't mention
Meaning.
Tina on this episode.
No. Okay. They must have edited it out, maybe,
Yeah,
because I did hear that she was going to be mentioned in it, but
yeah, I didn't
mm,
hear it, which makes this not very thorough. I can't say accurate, but not thorough because it only mentioned Bonin and Butts. The two B's is all they talked about.
yeah, only the real big. Well, they are the biggest hitters, like
Yeah,
because Tina didn't murder anybody. I guess
right.
maybe that's why they didn't include her.
That's true. That's a good point. Maybe that's good for it not to be mentioned in it.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe. Maybe.
All right, I'll take that. We'll see how craft goes. As far as other shout outs, if anybody knows Jim or James Rusnick, might want to reach out to him, check on him,
Yep.
make sure he's doing well.
Yep.
Right, he's on the app. I forget what
Yep.
app he's on. I send him letters, but
Yep.
as always, it's hard to say he's a decent guy. That's hard to say. But as of
Yeah.
this
His
moment,
crimes are horrendous.
his
Yes.
crimes are horrendous. Have you read his book? That he
Not yet. No.
okay, he it's a pen pal who wrote it, and I think it's a little on the harsh side. So is most interviews with them, people tend to really kind of dig into them. And I think if you're
Hmm.
interviewing someone, you should be non-partial and just interview them without trying to make a point about how bad they are or were. The
Hmm.
book does have printouts of some of the crime scene photos, and seeing those are haunting. And it's good to see those because then I can almost so I don't forget what how horrible it was.
Yeah.
But when I talk with them, it's we don't talk like that. I don't. Yeah,
No. No.
that's the
People
scale.
forget that these people are human. They do have, most do have a nice, gentle side.
Yeah,
On the
well,
other,
maybe as
it's
of now. I mean, it always seems that there was some type of mental illness going on at the time is not an excuse. They obviously weren't in the right state of mind, and hopefully with prison, with rehabilitation,
patient. Yep.
hospital medication, old age.
Yep. But James
So
Rizik is doing his time. He's,
yeah,
you know, um, and yes. So
yeah,
if you are friends, are pen pals with him, suggest you reach out.
yeah. That's. It's a friendly reminder to do so. Uh,
Yep.
Anything else? Oh yeah, Neil. Just want to don't forget, guys. Listen to the Neil episodes. We have two. He and I are going to have another one soon where he's going to get some really cool insight on something I never really known about. Is the prison? We call it like the prison booty magazines, getting photos of scantily clad women in magazines that they can purchase. And Sharon says she reads it sometimes. No.
Only the
No,
ones with Jason Momoa in them.
right. Only at that. So we're going to talk about that because he gives us a cool insight on what the dude's like in there, the cost of them. So please keep an eye out for that. Give Jason some love. Jason, that's his middle name. Give Neil some love.
Okay.
He's to me, he looks more like a Jason than a Neil. That's why I call him that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've seen the pictures of him, but yeah, no, I
Yeah.
can see that. Yeah. Yeah.
And he does want more pen pals, and it's worth it. Like I was showing Sharon, I have an 18-page letter from Neil talking about his period as a punk rocker back in Southern California, around the Norwalk area back in the 90s. He's a
Interesting.
year older than me,
Be
48.
interesting
Yeah.
to learn about his punk rock time.
Yeah. Because I know you're gonna write him, he's gonna write you, and you can ask him about
Awesome.
that. Yeah.
Yep.
Did I miss anything? Do we have any other updates to talk about?
Oh, I have one update that I was informed of this morning actually. So I don't know if anybody knows who Roy Ward is. But he is a inmate at an Indiana death row. And he has been informed of his execution date. So it is on the 10th of the 10th, 25. So that's what, 3 months, 4 months, 3 months away. So for those that do not know, he raped and murdered a 15-year-old child, which is pretty harsh.
Yeah.
Um, and he's been in prison since 2002. Indiana are ramping up their schedule. I think this will be the third person this year from Indiana to meet the Lord and Savior.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
that's so weird that to take that long to get the death penalty, you
Isn't
know?
it? They like give them the date at the sentencing. Like once they give them the date, they're like, right, this is when you're going to meet your maker.
Right.
But then it takes another 20 years. It's
It's a mind fuck.
yeah, it
Again,
is a mine.
it's
Yeah.
a it's a
I don't, just not knowing, like knowing you're going to go and trying to
yeah.
make with that. And then, you would maybe start to think maybe it's never going to happen. I don't know. Like
You would let your
after
guard
20
down.
years, it's
You'd
like, oh,
Yeah, you'd get comfortable and think well, if it hasn't happened now, it probably won't. It'll just keep getting postponed. And now that he knows, and not to say as a joke, but we had an interview with Bill Kimberlin, and I wonder if he knows
hmm
and if they correspond, and that would be potential visit for him. I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah.
possibly.
Would you visit somebody on death row if you were invited? Would you go?
Um, I would like to say no, but curiosity
Yes.
and the experience to see that firsthand would be, well, it'd be insane. It would probably do me some very mentally would probably damage me very much
Really?
to see that.
Yeah.
Uh, but it's something you'd have to weigh up. I mean, I don't know if I could handle it. I would like to experience it if I was invited, but
It's true. It's
if
even without a
hmm,
connection, even if it's not family or friend, I couldn't do
Hmm.
it then. If it's someone even just as a pen pal, I mean, there's some that I do consider a friend.
Yeah. Well, there is, yeah. I mean, I have one friend who is on death row, and who knows, maybe at some point I'm a little bit worried that they may invite me to be one of their witnesses at the end. I think you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
But um, I mean, I live in another country, so it's probably very unlikely that I could get there even if I wanted to. But financially, of course. I mean, I can fly,
Sure. The financial part
but
is part
yeah,
of it.
but do I really want to? Like, I don't know. I think it's something that would really, you can't weigh it up unless you've been invited, it's there on the table. So,
Yeah. I mean, I'll speculate. Say if it was in Colorado and they say, hey, I want you to come here. So part of me would, yeah, for sure. Curiosity to see what
the
that's like.
curiosity. Hmm.
And maybe they don't have anybody else kind of to be there for them. So I would think, okay, compassionately, I could be, one of
Yes.
the last people that they look at. So they know that someone there is not hating on them. There could be other
Yeah. Yeah.
witnesses
There
there.
is that.
So, I mean, you can always close your eyes and just kind of just be a source if you can't watch it. But I'm sure I, I don't want to see anybody unalived in any way,
No.
shape, or
No.
form. So I'm
Yep.
sure it would affect me as well. I think it would be,
Yeah.
yeah, that's tough.
But yeah, the compassion side, if someone doesn't have someone, I would really feel obliged that I would have to. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I was the only one that was going to be there, and I'm the only one invited, so to speak, that doesn't hate on them, yeah, I think I would feel guilty if I didn't go.
Right.
If that, yeah,
If it was easy to do so.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I agree. I think
yeah.
I think I would go and just deal with the moment and close my eyes if I had to.
Hmm.
Right.
Hmm.
And it may be the only time that I would pray to the ethers, the great beyond, or as we
Yes,
as
gods and
some
goddesses.
yeah, the great architect in the sky, as some of us Freemasons say.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So that's what's going on this week. I like this. I'm glad that you hopped on and did this with me. It's more fun to talk to somebody else than just the camera and an
It is.
imaginary
Yeah.
person.
No worries.
Yeah, it's going to be a great episode. So, on that
Yep.
note, bye everybody. This is Jeff with the Jeff
Bye.
Show. Bye,
Till
Sharon.
the weekend. Bye.